So you just started selling the photos you got?
No, so I got the it's a Nikon D80.
Okay.
And my parents, like it was my dad's, and I got invited to work at somewhere, and then I started like the person I took pictures for. Like I was just volunteering one day. They're like, we actually can't take these without paying you because we're gonna use them for promotion, and they're actually really good.
Oh, okay.
Like we'd like to pay you buy the rights to these images off you. And like, sweet, this is a piece of crap 8 megapixel D60 camera from 2007.
Jesus. So, I'm chewing, I shouldn't be. But, anyways. So, when that happened then, do you find with photography being a hobby of yours, because it's a hobby of yours, right?
Yeah.
Not a passion. Right? But do you feel when you're paid for it, you don't enjoy it as much? It takes the hobby side out of it, or?
It really depends. Like I've had some really cool opportunities for like shoots. Like I've done a lot of stuff with Earth Dancers in Dance Ontario.
Okay.
And that's been really like, more or less like, over time it gets really kind of boring for me to just take pictures of dancers all the time.
Right.
But it was cool because sometimes they gave me like creative license to take, like, hey, we really want to see how you can edit these and make like some cool stuff.
Okay, cool.
And then I've done some really cool shoots. I've done some whitewater paddling stuff, and that's always my favorite because I love whitewater paddling. I've done shoots for art climbing and like that's a student associations. But like I find the ones that kind of, it can be really repetitive and boring just taking like clicking a button and editing the photo, sending it to somebody.
Yeah.
But you can make it fun. Like I did a couple family shoots back in around Mother's Day. And with that, they were absolutely awesome to work with because the family itself were really engaging, and it's fun to.
Oh, okay.
It's that one-on-one personal interaction with people that's the fun part, not the actual. All right, done.
Point and click part, edit it.
Yeah.
So is that how you find it's more creative when you do it with people in terms of families or stuff like that instead of just?
Yeah, if I can actually like, there's some kind of attachment to the photos.
Right.
Like one of my photos I took with that family was like one of my favorite photos I ever taken because you can really see the emotion, you can see like the love that they have for each other and how much it like really shines through in the photo. And I love that I can capture that and give it to them.
That's cool.
Give them to that.
It's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty cool. Wow. So how'd you get into photography?
I was in grade 12 at St. Ben's, and my teacher made us do a thing called the 2010 project.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah,
we have a friend of mine.
Talia.
Yeah. Shout out to her.
Talia again.
Watching.
Awesome.
She follows, but she's probably not watching.
We had to do a like 20% of our time, and I always was inspired by like National Geographic photographers and all this stuff. I'm like, and I knew my dad had a camera. I'm like, all right, let's go out and learn it. And it's like I spent all my time just learning how to take pictures, like learning how a camera worked and like what ISO is, what aperture is, shutter speed, all these things and how they work together. And I made a blog about it, like pretty much how to get into photography if you're stupid like me. It's like how to. Like,
is that the name of it?
No, it was like just like D Kovala photo blog or something like that. But like
more original.
I think the like the first blog post was like photography for idiots, and it's like pretty much like here it is. Absolutely simple.
Nice.
And with that, I challenged myself to get a whole bunch of different styles of photos. And I really pushed myself and I probably spent like 2 hours taking pictures a night.
Wow.
And I think probably I still have 2 of those photos out of the thousands. I just really, like it was a good time, but I really, like it was a good time learning, but it was a strenuous, like a lot of repetitive stuff. But yeah. I had a ton of fun. Now I can take some pretty fun shots.
Did you make it? So you made the blog. The blog was your way of documenting it, and sharing it. Okay, right. Because I remember Talia did it. Talia did hers with Instagram.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool because I was in a few of them. So like those ones a little more biased towards those ones, but nice. Yeah, we'll put that description link in the description for you because I don't
even know if that blog is still active anymore. I haven't touched that in years. I find I've been documenting a lot more. I have an Instagram page, B Kovala Photos.
Okay.
And that's where I've been I started posting right after the 2010 project was done.
Once you learned it all and you could
and like I
mastered it.
It's really cool because I like looking back and seeing some of the photos I took when I just started out to some of the photos I take now. It's like like I was always fascinated by nighttime shots of cars and stuff like that moving, and like how light works over the course of time.
Right.
And a lot of my photos at the start were just taking like long exposures of cars and stars.
Cool.
And then now it's like I find a lot of them were like had a really orange hue to them and stuff like that. And now it's like I can make that perfect. Like I can go and take pictures of the stars, and it's really cool 2.5 years later seeing how much everything's changed.
Do you have like a specific photo that you enjoy? Like, what's your favorite photo that you've ever captured?
I've got a couple that I really like. I got one of my friend Eric at this summer camp I was working at, and it's him with his telescope. He's looking up at the stars, and it's like I set the camera right at grass level, so it's below his back.
Nice.
And it was a beautiful starry night in Minden.
Do you have the photo?
I do.
I want to see this.
Um,
Yeah, so you said in Maine?
in Minden.
Oh, in Minden. Okay. Cool.
And we looked up at the stars, and it was just like, it's him like that. Like, that's the. Oh, shit!
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's a pretty sweet shot.
Yeah, I love taking pictures like that.
It's a pretty sweet shot.
And yeah, that was like one of my favorites series. And then this is probably my second one. I'm a really avid canoe tripper and working on that front. And then
oh damn!
I snagged this one on Dudney Lake, just kind of like
That's so cool.
northeast of Sudbury.
Damn. Oh man, because I want to show you actually I'll show you mine from my account with my buddy. My buddy would take photos of me back when he was in Sudbury, and he's taken a few pretty sweet nighttime ones of myself, so I'm just gonna find those real quick. Here's my favorite one that he took.
That's a sick shot.
Yeah, he's unreal with those ones.
That's like very much my style. Like
oh shit!
Just that nighttime like star long exposure stuff.
That's pretty sweet.
That was like I think that was like only at 15 seconds, and it was like not a very wide aperture. It was just showing how bright the stars were. If I had it open for any longer, it would have just completely like. We were in a city that had like one traffic light and no city lights. So it's like perfect. It's like and there's like,
no light pollution.
Closest town was like Halliburton, which is 30K away.
Yeah, and still there's like maybe 18 people there.
Yeah, there's like no one in Halliburton.
Just taxi drivers.
It's just summer camp and cottages.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's cottage country.
That's crazy, man. Remind me after the show. I'll link you up with my buddy James, because he's very like we'd go on adventures together and shit. And then when we'd go on these adventures, he'd just be taking photos, and that's the similar style. Like we were out till probably, as you can imagine, like you don't just go at 11 o'clock at night and take those photos.
Actually, for me, the prime time to take star photos is between like 10:30 and 10:30 and like 11:30. That's in the earlier summer, just because of the position. The moon drops down a little lower and then comes back up. I find if the moon's too high, you get too much bleed. So you either got to go earlier in the night or late at night. Yeah, I think like you got to go like at 2 or 3.
Yeah, we went at like 1:30 and then stayed. Like
if you can go at like if you have the kind of that drive, you can get up at like maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and go up right at the end, because then the moon's gone and the sun's about to come, so you get a bit of a hue to the sky.
Yes.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty cool. Do you have any photos like that?
Not that I can think of on like I think I may have 1 or 2 like hiding around on my laptop. Hard part is with like long exposure, like nighttime photography, is it just most of the time it doesn't work out the way you want it to, because like you get a little bump in the tripod, the wind sets it off like slightly, and then you get a little bit of jiggle, and it's like as soon as you get that, it's like the stars like start to shake a bit. It doesn't make it as nice of a photo.
Cool. Man, I think you'd really get along with my buddy James, specifically in the photography aspect, because it sounds like your style of shooting is similar to his, from what I'm
that's what I'm.
So that's pretty cool though. Wow. So you mentioned for adventures and like trips you go on, you're in ADVL, right?
Yeah, I'm 3rd year outdoor adventure leadership. I'm also in teachers college with that.
Sure. So how does that work, the balance between the two?
So
what's your week like typically?
Yeah, so like the cool thing is Laurentian University offers a outdoor adventure leadership program, which is one of the best in North America, and it's but it also has a concurrent education program, meaning so you can take a degree like English, and while you're getting your English degree, you actually take a couple extra courses like a semester. Like during last year, I was taking my wilderness first aid and wilderness first responder course and outdoor education course, I was also taking a education and schooling course on
Mhm.
top of that, on top of the stuff that we need to take for, since it's under the School of Human Kinetics, we have to take physiology, anatomy, and all that stuff. So a typical week would look like I have phys, anatomy, or whatever course it was that semester.
Mhm.
Generally, some specific outdoor courses. Like first semester was I had to take wilderness first response, which is
Sounds like a
a long course. It was
heavy course.
It's a heavy course. It's an 80-hour certification course, and it's pretty much how to keep somebody alive for 2 days when they're
2 days.
2 days, using whatever you can. And then I also but then on top of that, you have to take an education courses. So ideally, it's 5 years, and you get 2 separate bachelor's degrees. One of physical health and education, and one of them is in just purely education.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So why did you choose this program?
Honestly, for me, there was like no other choice. Like I applied for 2 programs, and I got into I applied for, I think it's outdoor recreation and parks over at Lakehead University in Thunder Bay. Got a killer offer to go there, and it was seemed like a good time. But Laurentian is their ADVL program is second to none. Like there's maybe one university out in BC called Thompson Rivers that beats it.
Yeah.
But Thompson River is a different kind of school, but ADVL program in Laurentian, especially with the Con Ed, creates some of the highest quality outdoor professionals in the world.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent to becoming like a security guard compared to a police officer. You can go to college real quick and get that certification, or you can spend a little bit extra time and you get the. So I figured that for me, setting up a career in the outdoor industry, this would be the best pathway to go.
Right.
It's always been my dream. I knew it wouldn't be the one that makes the most money, but it'd be the one that I have the most fun and have.
Yeah, and that's really what you want.
Live the dream, really.
Yeah, and that's where, and the guy I had on a couple weeks, George, shout out to him. Excuse me. He mentioned, because I asked him, I was like, where does money fit into because he's a professional basketball player, right? And so he makes good money, but it's also not like Ferrari type, driving around Ferrari type money. I think very few professions allow you to do that. And so asking him, he was like, well, you have to find out how much does money mean to you.
Yeah.
Because if there's a bunch of people who, they really enjoy it. For example, my brother's very materialistically motivated, and that's fine, that's him, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. It's I don't care about new shirts every 2 weeks. It's not really my thing. I don't care what brand I'm wearing. As long as it fits, I'm okay with it.
Whatever I can get the cheapest.
Yeah, exactly. It's whatever works,
whatever's gonna last long and it doesn't cost me a fortune, an arm and a leg.
And if it's Patagonia, right?
Like Patagonia offers fair trade stuff, that's my big incentive. They last forever, and the products are all actually ethical. They're ethically treated. In fact, the factories, they use organic, all organic cotton. It's no preservatives and stuff like that. And then as far as it goes for all their staff are incredibly well treated. That's why the treatment of people is a huge thing for me. Right. So I'm okay with spending I'd spend $25 on a shirt somewhere else, and Patagonia's $30. The shirt itself is gonna last forever, and it's gonna. So there's a couple companies that I'll spend that little bit extra money on because I know it'll last longer, but not be. And it's just a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's so
overall.
Overall.
So you mentioned something before we right before we got going about specifically off Patagonia. Do you find people mention that when you have you buy brands, specifically outdoor brands, do you find people are a lot of bandwagon brands where they hop on, they see a brand, they're like, oh, this makes me adventurous now? Yeah.
There's the big ones right now is Patagonia and Fjällräven. Fjällräven makes those super cute backpacks that every girl has right now, and I have one myself. I was given one as a gift.
It was a gift.
It was a gift.
It was a gift.
Shout out to Chloe Simic for that one. But they also, people think oh, I'm adventurous now. It's that Instagram it's that look at me generation of people that is I'm gonna put on this stuff and that's gonna be my persona. Not people like myself, my roommate, and all the other people I trip with. We wear the Fjällräven pants just because they're the most functional pants you can wear. They're not gonna rip on us. They're gonna be comfortable. They're gonna not get wet. They're going to dry really quickly. They're going to be just all around a really functional outerwear, not the oh man, we need Fjällräven because it has that name on it.
Right. Interesting.
If Oakley started making a pant like that, I'd start wearing it. if Calvin Klein started making a pair of pants like that, maybe not that point.
Yeah.
If like any company made a pair of pants or like anything like that, it's like, don't be the brand loyalist, be the one that's going to be the most functional for what you're doing. That's my approach to it. Like, I have Arc'teryx, I have Patagonia, I have Marmot, all these high-end companies.
Right.
But it's just for the fact that I need the quality out of it for what I'm doing.
Right. And that's why the jackets are in the upwards of a few $100s.
Yeah, like you can spend $1,000 on an Arc'teryx coat. I didn't get mine for that price. I got mine on a really nice pro deal, but I have it and I ice climb with it. I rock climb. I will drag metal stuff across it, and all that stuff, and it's never ripped on me. It's never like it's because if I bought the cheaper coat, I'd need to buy 4 of those for the one I have.
Fair.
Oh, it's just stuff I love to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell. I'll listen all day. That's what I find with podcasting specifically, though, is now everyone wants to hear themselves talk. Whether people just don't really know how to admit it. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, well, I'll take a different approach and listen.
Yeah,
for change. Especially when people talk about stuff that they love and they're interested in and they're passionate about. Like with you in photography, I said maybe 6 words in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, cool. That's 2 of them. So that's impressive, though. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. But so, what was the pro deal?
I worked in gear stores my whole life.
Oh, okay.
I've worked in gear stores, and then I'm also certified through Paddle Canada and a couple other different associations, CUI for challenge coursework. Right. And all these places offer certain pro deals for staff. Oh, okay. So, like, instead of a lot of places, if you're working at a gear store, they're going to want the companies that sell their stuff want you to be wearing it. No retail worker making $14 an hour is going to buy a $900 coat. When they offer them that coat for $150, they'll be like, yeah, I'll take it.
So you have an Arc'teryx jacket.
I paid about $200 for it.
Valued at what?
$990.
Yo, 80% off.
I would have never bought it.
No, that's so.
I'd find whatever the next best thing was that was durable in my price point.
Mm. That's incredible.
Yeah,
and you're like, sign me up.
I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take that.
Easy. So you said you want to be a professional paddle guy?
Yeah. So in general, like I've always had kind of a dream of starting like a guide company out of Sudbury.
Cool.
Sudbury has 320 lakes in the city, and then right from outside of city limits is Temagami. Outside of there is French River, Spanish River, all these. I don't know if I said Colorado, but there's so many provincial parks and national areas, like really close proximity to Sudbury.
Right.
And we're doing like the thing is there's not one dedicated guide company that I know that is solely devoted to Sudbury, which kind of sucks. We're hiring people from down south.
Right, so which ones are we currently, I guess, affiliated with?
That are pulling in?
Yes.
We're pulling in from a good guy named Amir Fishman. His company is called Overhang Adventures. Absolutely awesome company. He's an ABBL grad, actually. Really, really cool guy.
Cool.
And then we're pulling in like a bunch of like freelance people from down south. I know my prof's wife has an all-female guide company, which is absolutely amazing.
Like all females run it?
Yeah, all females run it, and then it's all just like trips for women. They run trips internationally too.
Oh, cool!
So really cool. Like,
that's sick.
Her name's Jenny, and it's just unreal. Like the stuff she runs.
She's your boss's wife?
No, she's my prof's wife, the program coordinator. Absolutely awesome stuff. But yeah, there's no real guide companies. Like I think MHO Adventures does, and a couple other places like do trips like in the area,
right?
And maybe like a couple trips out of Clarny Outfitters. But there's no actual dedicated canoe tripping guides to Sudbury. I kind of pitched this idea a couple of years ago called 4681 Adventures. The 4681 being the general coordinate of Sudbury.
Yeah.
And I wanted to create my dream is to create this kind of like this platform where we can like pull in guides, and they'll be running out of Sudbury, so offered on a contract basis. Because there's people are spending so much money to go travel in Algonquin Park and all this stuff when they don't realize the beauty that is like. There's a lake in Sudbury called just outside of Sudbury called Matawagamasee.
Yeah, Managassee. Yeah,
and then Wolf Lake's right off of there, and Chiniguchi, and all these other waterways. Sturgeon River's right there. Amazing, like some of the world's best paddling.
I did a trip on the Managassee.
Yeah, you did the loop.
Yeah. Oh, sick.
It's a sweet loop. I've done it. I think I've done that loop about 9 times now, 9 or 10 times now. I've done about 15 different trips to that area.
Wow, it's a nice area though.
It's so nice.
Like that.
It's such a beautiful spot. So we have all these areas, but we don't have anybody that's guiding to them.
Right.
So it doesn't give like the regular person that opportunity to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of sharing this beautiful landscape with other people.
It's a good, like, it's passion. It sounds passion driven.
Yeah.
Specifically. So do you want to be a paddle guide and lead trips for a certain amount of time to acquire that experience to then build the platform?
Right now it's kind of that like weird balance. Like I've talked with other guides, and it would be like we could be just running it as like kind of like a cooperative. Like I'd be like the sole provider of the business, and I offer it to people to be like, oh hey, like I'm going to offer you a 2-week contract to do this trip. Most of the guiding work in Canada is done based on a just contract work.
So however long the clients want to be on trip for, you hire
yeah,
them
it's like all right.
A couple days before, a couple days after.
Yeah, we do like okay, you get 2 days of trip prep beforehand.
Right. So 10 days you hire them 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that kind of feel, and you just give them contracts based on like on a per trip basis.
Nice.
I think that's probably the best way to do it. Like, there's not much regulation in Canada right now as far as the outdoor industry goes in that regard.
Yeah.
Actually, Ontario just released a minimum wage for wilderness guides right now, which is really cool. It's a big step.
Okay, what is it?
For a work day for a guide is very different than a work day for somebody else. You can't pay them $14 an hour because they're out there 24 hours a day.
Right.
And they're oftentimes all their expenses are paid as well. But the minimum, people were sometimes ripping off these people. They were paying them like $90 for like they're out there for 24 hours a day, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The new standard is you need to pay at least $140 a day.
Wow.
To a guide, which
That's
is
incredible.
In my mind still on the low end of things. I think
Right.
it should be like 150, 170.
Right, for all their knowledge and like when shit hits the fan.
The amount of time that somebody needs to put into getting like what I would say is relevant experience to guide is really, like, I'm not even at that point yet. I've done thousands of kilometers of canoeing, but I'm still not fully at that certification level that I need. That I would say I'm proficient enough to be a professional canoeing guide. In order to do that, it's hours and hours, and like you got to spend at work over years, and you got to spend so much money to get where you are.
Right. Wow. Mm-hmm. So when you finish the program in a few years, do you believe, yes or no, that you'll have that experience?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You need to have an NLS.
Yep.
In my opinion, you should not put everywhere requires that. I think people should have an NLS just because it makes sense if you're swimming.
Yeah, anything near water just kind of gives you more of a confidence and more of a like that platform of general knowledge.
Yeah.
Take it out because first aid doesn't really apply in the water.
Well,
it's a different animal.
Exactly. And then I think they do a minimum of wilderness first aid course, which is a 40-hour course. And then I would prefer something like a 80-hour woofer course, like the wilderness first responder, like I talked about earlier. And then the relevant paddling cert. So if it's a kayaking trip, whether that'd be like maybe sea kayaking instructor 1, or if it's a canoeing cert, like would be a canoe tripping instructor 1 from Orca, or like an Orca 4 certification, or Paddle Canada, like canoe tripping 3, something like those certs. I think it's just really awesome to have guides that are certified. Unfortunately, there was an incident in Algonquin Park about 2 years ago where a child died over underqualified people. And so that's why I'm huge on the idea of people getting relevant certifications and all this stuff. It was with the Toronto District School Board. A kid named Jeremiah Perry drowned in Algonquin Park when he really should not have drowned. Right. It shouldn't have never happened.
So what, can you refresh people and myself, what happened?
From like what the reports I've read have been is they were on Big Trout Lake, which is in Algonquin Park, and it was I think it may have been early high school outdoor education class.
Okay.
And they did a canoe trip, and they went into Big Trout Lake, and a lot of the students didn't pass their swim test, but still went on the trip, which is absolutely ridiculous.
That should be a no-go.
It should be a no-go. It should be either they need more supervision. They should always be wearing a life jacket. Mm-hmm. Fill in the blanks. And as far as I'm aware, there was a lack of supervision, but they were allowed to go swimming. And this guy who failed the swim test who was a recent immigrant to Canada
Mhm.
from Ghana, so had no
West Africa.
Yeah,
Jeez.
no swimming experience, and he went swimming, and he went down and with somebody else, and never came back up. And it's unfortunate that it had to it didn't have to happen, and it shouldn't have happened. And I think, in my opinion, could have been definitely mitigated with more outdoor professionals on the trip.
Put a life jacket on.
It's not hard.
That'd be like, that's literally, now he does, now that the problem of him going under doesn't happen.
It happens for like a foot. His buddy pushes him for a second, he comes right back up.
Yeah, there's not much of a chance that, God damn.
Yeah, no, like, even, like, I live on the lake. I live on the lake with a bunch of other ADDL students, and last night we went up for a paddle. My lake's super shallow, we can stand up.
What lake?
St. Charles.
Okay, yeah.
We can stand up to our shoulders for most of it. And then we're out just going for a rip in our play boats, just like working on some rolls and stuff like that.
Damn, that sounds fun.
It's a good time.
I for the life of me, sorry to cut you off there, cannot roll in the kayak, and that's something I need to do. That's one of the skills that I'm trying to learn from a skill, like whole side thing. People don't know is I'm trying to learn one skill from each of the podcast guests I have on.
Okay.
Right. And it could be something that they instruct to me verbally, or like last week I had Allie on. Shout out to you, Allie. She's gonna teach me how to backflip. Mm-hmm. She's already like talking to me about like mindset to go in, so I'm already like loosened up. She told me it's easier than actually front flipping in terms of safety and stuff. So that's my skill I'm gonna learn from her. So I'm trying to like cherry pick skills.
Yeah, no, you can come on by sometime and we'll get you in a boat.
Yes.
I'll
bring my own life jacket.
That's sweet. No, it's like even we were just going for a quick rip, and we ended up all I'm like, all right, everybody through. I didn't even need to say anything. I live with a bunch of people in ADDL, and they all have their PFDs on, ready to go paddling, even though we're just going around the bay.
Right. It's just like, also I find, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but when I worked in camping, and I always had my life jacket. It was always my life jacket. It always had like 6 whistles, a knife. It had like my things, right? And it was a personal life jacket. Do you relate when you guys like are probably all proud of your life jacket?
My life jacket is, you can kind of see it here. It is my baby. It's
that's sick.
I have an astral green jacket, just a plug, and it's like this. I spent way too much. I got a good sale on it, but I'm like, worth it. But it's the comfiest life jacket. It's got like a big pocket that opens up, and I can put a first aid kit, and then I can write my logbooks and stuff like that. It's got a pocket for a throw bag. It's a pullover life jacket. It has so many cool features to it. Sick. You can rig up webbing to it, and then the belt axes are climbing. You can rappel off your life jacket. Yeah.
Stop.
It's a really sick life jacket.
$18,000 life jacket.
It's like a good whitewater jacket starts at like $200, and they go to like $400. And like I'm like, people spend the money, and once we get them, it's like you're almost flexing your life jacket when you go to see your buddies. It's like, oh, check this out.
Right. You guys are just going to the beach. You're probably going to be no more than neck height, but you're like, no, I'm going to put my life jacket on.
It's like,
so it is a pride thing too.
It's definitely a pride
life jacket. That's pretty sweet.
When you have cool gear, especially in like that setting, it's like I was hanging out with my good friends Jordan and Emily. I'm gonna tell you guys to watch the podcast.
Shout out to them.
They were we were hanging out, and I'm like, they work in a gear store in Guelph, and I got a brand new sleeping bag that's like just under a pound. And I'm like, check this out, and I threw it to them. We're all geeking out over like how light my sleeping bag is. It's like,
it's wild.
Everybody likes to flex their like. You get like this gearhead community that just loves to be like, check this out. Like,
check out my gear.
It's like we got this like pride in like how cool our stuff is, and like we want that like next level technology. And it's so fun.
See, that's the kind of stuff that like when I worked in camping, I was like, okay, I have to have the most absurd amount of stuff attached to my life jacket. I had my hatchet attached to my life jacket. Outrageous, completely obnoxious thing to do, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna attach this just in case.
I'm pretty streamlined.
Yeah?
I like keeping it streamlined because I do a lot of whitewater and I don't want anything attached to it that can actually kill me.
Yeah, that hatchet would not be a good idea.
Well, I don't even keep, like, people keep carabiners on the shoulder straps.
Yes.
I don't ever do that because what happens if I flip my boat and I go for a swim, that gets caught on something.
Right. Very well could. Yeah.
Whether my boat, whether it's like a tree or something like that underneath, like then that's holding me down there. So it's like I like keeping it like streamlined on the life jacket.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
So I'm gonna back up to something. So you mentioned before you started about you had a zip lining job.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I work in the challenge course industry. I'm certified through CUI, which is Challenges Unlimited Canada. And they're a really cool organization. I did a bunch of like training through them. I worked here at the Laurentian University course for about a year.
Oh, the vertical one.
Yeah, the vertical course.
What's it cost to get in there?
I'm not too sure what the prices are there now, but like I think it's generally like you do like a group booking. I know with the SGA, there's going to be like some kind of event that they have like an open challenge course thing. Or something like that. I'm not too certain.
Cool.
I haven't been affiliated with them for about a year, but they're an awesome place. Definitely check it out. Jean's a cool guy in the HK office. And then so I was working at a camp at the beginning of the summer. I just left because of different reasons came up. But there was in order to get there, this camp had a triple zip line that was about 200 meters long. And it was this big platform you climbed up. And then this is really cool because it's one of the only ones in Canada that does this. You take the zip line and you have to you fly down it into the water as your break.
What?
So you're harnessed in, and then you get lowered off your rope.
Bruh.
It's so sick.
No! Where was this?
This is in Minden.
In Minden, okay. So
Yeah.
Minden. Booyah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next week I know where I'm going.
So you're all harnessed in, and like you got like a rope and a gree, and then we have people on like a thing called an it bike, which is like kind of like a water bike, and like paddle over, and then they unclip you, and then you just swim back. It's a sweet zip line. It's so fun to see the kids on it. In order to get that though, I needed to do CUI level 2 training, which was like a 5-day course down at I did a YMCA Pinecrest.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to also do training with the TSSA. Because zip lines are regulated as an amusement device in Canada, which is really cool. We're one of the people one of the only countries that regulates zip lines because of just insurance wise.
Wow.
And so I did my training with the TSSA, and I had to do a whole bunch of supervised like inspections and work on it.
Right.
And I came out as I think my actual certification title is Zipline Mechanic in Training.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool
shit.
Pretty cool cert to have.
Damn.
I carry it on my card in my wallet. Just
Can I see it?
Yeah.
See what it's like. See what it looks like.
I don't know if this is my Zipline card, but this is my challenge course operator license.
Damn. This is cool. CUI is accredited as professional vendor challenge course technology with ooh shit. Full practitioner certification, operation system dynamic static, check, special events, aerial truss drive, flying squirrel. What's that?
Flying squirrel is a system where you have you'll have 2 large posts.
Let it focus in. There we go. Focus up.
You'll have 2 things. You can use big trees, or you can use like posts, like telephone posts. And they have got a guy line cable going to the top. Okay. And it's like we have a good pulley system at the top of it, and it's like a 4-to-1 pulley. So you have 1 pulley at the top, 1 pulley at the bottom. You attach a bunch of people to the rope. Everybody gets harnessed in and pulls, and then you have like 1 kid goes, and they just run forward as everybody's pulling the rope does, and it launches the kid up in the air. So like we call it the flying squirrel. So it just launches them up into the air.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's so funny.
Jeez. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one. And he's certified in it. Man, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. So, speaking of that, now let's shift over. Do you still climb competitively?
I don't climb competitively anymore. I stopped in 2017.
Okay.
I was doing pretty well in the climbing comp series. Like I trained with your brother.
Yeah.
A lot back in the prime.
Back in the prime.
I was pushing grades. Like I was climbing like 512 maybe, like on a good day, and like some higher boulder problems. And I was like really working. Unfortunately, I got injured. I got a hernia.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that really like I was coming back from a competition, in Southern Ontario. I came second in a Tour de Bloc. I'm like, oh sweet, this is gonna be a really good season, and unfortunately it's like, oh, so I got a hernia, and then so I had to take 3 months off, and then I got back and I started training a bit, and it's hard to find that drive, and then I got another hernia, because it's really popular if you get like one side, like common if you get one side, you're gonna need to get the other side done, because it's so much stronger on the one side, so it pushes a lot more pressure on the other.
For people who don't know, can you explain what a hernia is?
So I have what's called an inguinal hernia, so it's like on the lower part of my body, like lower part of the abdomen.
Okay.
Above the groin, and what happens is it's a shift in your abdominal, I think it's abdominal wall, and what happens is part of your intestines get pushed and can get into a really uncomfortable position for your body, and it happens a lot to like power lifters, people who are like really avid workmen, people who put a lot of like force on and like a lot of lifting force and stuff like that. So like I was doing like a lot of like rowing stuff at the time. I was climbing. I was doing a lot of like physical labor, and it puts a lot of pressure on your lower abdomen, and it's just an injury that can like happen to pretty much anybody. Really common in like older men who are like doing like a lot of like heavy like physical labor. Like a lot of like mechanics will get it, like construction workers. But it's just pretty common. Like it's like something like 50% of men get them in their life. It's not like it's an incredibly painful experience, but it's more of an inconvenience because it limits your motion.
And you have to go through surgery?
Yeah, you gotta get the first surgery I got in Sudbury, and then the second one I went to a clinic in Toronto to get it done.
Oh.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, it happens, but and I found like even after recovery, like I got my last surgery in December, and I got really heavy after that surgery, and I lost a lot of that, like in that time frame, like I lost my joy for climbing, because I found a lot of climbing was, for me, it was not even about like that, like going out and enjoying with your friends anymore. Rock climbing was about beating people, and it was about winning, and it was about being the best I can do to kick butt in climbing.
Right.
I hated that aspect of it now, because it's like it ruined the fun, it ruined the joy of, I'm just gonna go have fun. It's like, no, I need to go out and I need to climb the 88. It's a project. I need to isolate myself on this one climb because I need to climb this grade. I need to beat people. So I really kind of like lost that drive to go to the gym and climbing. And after my second surgery, man, like I got super heavy. I went up to like 188.
What?
I'm a pretty small guy. Like I'm like 5'10".
What?
I went up to 188. Because I was pretty much from the end of November to like midway through January, all I could do was sit on the couch. Because I was just in, like, I either was like waiting for the hernia surgery or recovering from it, and so I didn't want to move around. I couldn't be too active, couldn't ice climb, couldn't do anything like that. So it took a while for me to get back into the swing of things. Once I got active again, I really changed up my diet in the last like probably like 6 months to like a year. Like I changed my diet up like 150%.
Right.
I started being active again, and I'm a bit like down like 168, 170, like at that range, like that healthy range. And like I've been going out climbing again and kind of getting that love back for just like that, having a good time, taking people out, going outside, and just enjoying the social aspect of it. Right. And it's no longer about that like I have to win. Yeah,
that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Wow. Hernias are common, eh?
Yeah, pretty common. Most men will get them at some point.
I feel I'm like inclined to get one at some point.
That's
as much as I don't want to.
A lot of the guys in like their later 40s will like generally, like I was at the clinic, there was a couple other young guys, but like most of the men there were like 35 plus. Women can get them too, it's just less likely.
Right. Interesting. Just the way their bodies are.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll stay on the climbing topic. You climbed Mont Blanc?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that like, man? Like, tell us how that kind of got started, to why you chose that specific climb, to everything you can about it. Because I saw them like, that looks pretty high.
So
it's not your average hike.
No, it's not. I really like alpine sports. Like I love skiing, I love ice climbing, love all that kind of stuff. And I find that like I was like, all right, let's like think of an adventure. I had a family friend named James. We call him the world's richest homeless person. He like would travel around taking teaching contracts in the world, but he never had a permanent residence for a while, so he lived with us during the summers.
Right.
James had been to.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
James would go do Like he'd take teaching contracts all around the world, and he'd come live with us.
Cool.
And he's been to like something like 40 or 50 countries. Yeah, and like or even more than that. But he said to me when I was like 11 years old, like, I'll meet you wherever you want in the world. When you graduate high school, go on a trip and I'll meet you wherever you want. I'm like, okay. We were gonna go to Patagonia because I really wanted to go climbing down there.
That's South America.
That's like the tip of South America.
All right.
But I didn't really account for the fact that it would be the winter season and it'd be really hardcore to climb there. It'd be like
cold,
-40, like it's almost Antarctic temperatures because it's so close.
No.
I decided against that one.
Yeah. Fair.
And I was like, okay, where's a cool spot to go climbing? And like everything kind of pointed to Chamonix, France. And there's a mountain there called Mont Blanc.
Right.
It borders France, Italy, and Switzerland.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, well, this seems like a cool spot. I texted James and like, hey, do you want to just travel Europe? I'm like, sure. And he said, sure. And we decided, I'm like, all right, let's spend yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, sure, I'll meet you there. But I told him, I'm like, come 10 days later. And we met 10 days after. So I graduated high school, like I finished my last exam on June 27th, 2017. And I got on a plane June 30th, and I flew to Paris, then I flew to Switzerland. I took a bus to Chamonix, hung out there for a couple days.
Wow.
I was there for Canada 150. That was really cool. There was a little Canadian bar.
Was there?
Yeah,
that's pretty
Canadian themed bar in Chamonix, and I was owned by some Canadian guy. They're celebrating Canada Day.
That's wild. So you had a couple pints there.
Yeah, hung out with them for a while. Went to the Arc'teryx Alpine Academy, which was like a week-long thing they were running there. Yeah, it was pretty cool. We got to climb it, like you get some training from like some of the greats, like Hazel Finley, Will Gadd, like world-renowned climbers, and got to like go to like these training like workshops that they were holding in the village.
That's pretty cool.
It was really, really cool.
And were those free? Or?
Absolutely free, yeah.
No.
Yeah, some of them would cost money to like go up. Like they had some that was like, oh yeah, we're working on advanced backcountry skiing.
Right. If you want to go, but you have to pay.
You got to pay like a bit to go up
sense.
the lifts and stuff like that.
So like it was free, like online training.
It's put on by Arc'teryx, all of it. And like they had a bouldering comp in the town, and they had like a hangboard competition. I didn't do well in the hangboard. I won the bouldering comp in my division.
Nice, dude.
But it was really cool. They had like a bunch of like stuff like that going on.
That sounds wild.
But then they, I linked up beforehand. Like one of the reasons I went to Chamonix is they had a company called Mont Blanc Guides.
Right.
And it's a 6-day mountaineering course. And the first thing you do is you get there, meet your team. It was the craziest thing. Here's me, this 18-year-old kid who's been saving all of high school to go here, and like putting all my effort and money and time into this, like getting here. And I've got some of the richest people in the world around me. Like, I've got a guy who worked for the Democratic Party in the States. He worked for, like on Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Oh wow!
There was a guy there named Jim Lagopoulos. He is one of the leading neurosurgeons in Australia, and like the world. In there we had lawyers. We had a guy who owned his own orthodontist thing that like trained in the States. So, like.
And you just finished your high school
I
diploma.
just finished high school. Like,
what?
These people are like, oh, here's a cool thing. I'm like, yeah, hey guys. And like I had a girl who was like a personal shopper to celebrities, like Jen O'Neill. I still chat with her every now and then. But she's like in her 30s and she's like.
Is this Jen O'Neill?
Jen O'Neill, really cool.
How do you stay in touch with her?
She sends me like a message on Instagram or Facebook every now and then, and be like, hey, how are things? And, really cool. So we ended up
just send her a message, be like, yo, check out the podcast. If you like it, my buddy will come to wherever the fuck you are in the world.
Yeah.
We'll sit down and chat.
We ended up the first thing we did is like we meet the guides and all that stuff. We get our gear, and we go over to we drive to Italy, and we climb a mountain called Gran Paradiso, which is the highest mountain in Italy.
Okay.
It's about 4,200 meters above sea level.
Okay.
We climbed that in 2 days.
Right.
Just so that we get used to the altitude. We come back down, have drinks in the village, all that stuff, and then spend the night in Chamonix village, and then it starts Mont Blanc.
Right.
A lot of my group members decided that they, and at suggestion of the guides, that they weren't actually fit to climb.
Okay.
So they wouldn't just let anybody climb. So it actually ended up being that we had more guides than we needed, so everybody got their own personal guide. There was, and then some people joined last minute saying like, okay, I'm gonna try it. So there was me, with a guy named Neil, really, really cool guy. He runs a guide company over there, but he works for Mont Blanc. And Neil was my climbing guide. And then there was Tom. Tom was from Czech area, and he owned like a business over there, and he's a really cool guy, but he was a machine. Man would smoke like 2 packs a day, but could climb faster than anybody.
What?
He set the guide company's record for speed on the mountain. It was wild. And then Jen and a guy named Dave Post, really cool guy. They tried climbing it, but they were with just like one other guy. They were not favored to actually summit.
Oh, okay.
So we all left at the same time. One guy, actually Eric, he backed out last minute. Like he starts climbing, he's like, you know what, like I can't. Like he made it up to the hut on Mont Blanc, and then he decided like, no, we can't. We camped there the night, and then we started the climb in the morning, like the really steep part. We started at 3,800 meters, and we had to get to 4,807 meters. Eric decided, he's like, no, I'm out. And then the other two were told they had to turn around. We had a very short window to make it work because with mountaineering there's weather. We left at 4 a.m. We had to be back off the mountain in the hut by 2 o'clock because of the weather. So we started climbing, and I like Tom passed me by like hours. And I ended up just climbing up. I spent a ton of like, and it was really, it's a daunting experience because it's like your body's not meant to function that high, especially with somebody who's like, I live at Sudbury, I'm at 280 meters above sea level.
Yeah, and then
I'm at 4,000, and it's like every kind of breath is labored, and you think you get it's just walking and like ice climbing a bit,
right,
and like just scrambling over rocks.
So like on paper, it's not that difficult seemingly.
Yeah.
But then, because it's like, oh, you can walk, but then you're walking up and you're so high.
Yeah, you're so high, you're sweating, and then but it's also minus 10 out and it's windy, so you're freezing. And it's like this weird mix of like it's such a mental and emotional battle. And I made it up to the top finally, and it was awesome. But like all I think about, I'm like, I just want to go down.
Done.
It did not hit me until like after the fact. I'm like, I just climbed the highest mountain in Europe. It's like it didn't hit me till like well after, because like that's all I could think. I'm like, I just want to go down right now.
That's pretty sweet.
It's so grueling.
But is the highest mountain in Europe?
It's the highest mountain in Europe, I'd say. There's two schools of thought. People say Mount Elbrus in Russia is the highest mountain in Europe, but Russia's not in Europe, in my opinion, because Russia's an Asian country, but it's because of like.
Interesting.
So there's like contention whether, like, some people call it Mont Blanc the highest mountain in Europe. In traditional Europe itself, like as in like what we think of as Europe,
yes,
Mont Blanc is the highest. Then when you go like Russia, like in the western side of Russia is Mount Elbrus, which is like 5,700 or something like that. And they're not. People think that's the highest, I think, but it just depends on opinion, really.
European Russia is the western part of the Russian Federation, which is part of Eastern Europe with population. Okay. Okay. So I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like traditional Europe. Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting.
People say continental Europe, like the actual continent of Europe, when not including Russia.
But Russia's also a lot bigger than Europe as itself.
Yeah. That's the point of contention on that one. It's like, is Elbrus? Because when people do 7 summits, they'll either consider Mont Blanc or Mount Elbrus.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how much higher is Mount Elbrus?
Elbrus is about like 1,200 meters higher, I think, 1,000 meters higher.
Okay.
Which is a big difference.
It's a big difference when we're talking climbing a mountain above sea level, not 1,200 meters as like a walk to the confectionery store.
The thing is, think about walking down the road.
Okay.
Now just picture that completely vertical. That's the perspective. It's like, that's 1,200 meters. Think about going just give or take like 4 times around the Laurentian track, but walking that straight as a ladder. Like that's the height.
1,200 meters up a ladder.
Yeah.
In the freezing cold.
Yeah.
Not being able to breathe too well.
It's cool.
Okay, yeah. Conditions wise, that sounds insane. I posted a photo recently asking like people like suggestions, like where my next like trip should go.
Yeah.
I'm curious what yours is, but before I ask you, what have you ever thought of Everest Base Camp? Because that was one friend of mine commented. I was like, oh, that sounds sick.
So I've got kind of like, I sound really pretentious and douchey when I talk about Everest.
Okay, why's that?
I don't think I would never go to Everest.
Why's that?
Everest is a tourist trap. Anybody with
Okay.
$80,000 can climb Everest. People don't like. I'm saying like I'm not saying climbing Everest is easy, but it's not. People say, "Oh, it's the hardest mountain in the world." No, it's not.
No,
It is
just
the highest mountain in the world. People there. I think this year there's like 450 summits, give or take, on Everest. There's about a 5-day window that you can climb Everest.
Mm-hmm.
So you're waiting in line. There's a John Krakauer, a famous author. He wrote Into the Wild and Into Thin Air.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was actually
Yeah,
on
I've read Into Thin Air.
Into Thin Air. So you're familiar with the disaster that happened on Everest.
Yeah,
The movie. He took a picture of this lineup on the Hillary step of probably 200 people. 4 people, I think, died standing in that line. I'd wait in line everywhere else in the world. The last place I want to wait in line is on a mountain.
Yeah, it seems kind of silly.
Everest has become this very commercialized
Very
idea, like
silly.
commercialized thing. There's
Mhm.
like 80,000 tons of trash on the mountain. There's this thing where it's like people pay their way up. You get summit fever, and people. I'm not worried about my own climbing ability failing me. I'm worried about somebody else's who's not experienced killing me. I'm not a very experienced climber in the grand scope of things. But even if I had that time to devote to Everest, I don't think I would. Just because Everest is like, it seems really cool to stay on top of the world, but at what cost? Like, is it really worth it? When you have this, like, when you've got Sherpa families who are dying for other people, like you got Sherpas, like who are being mistreated. You got guide companies that are just making a killing off this, or people are paying $80,000 to climb this mountain. That's the going price, really. They're paying $60,000 to $80,000 for me to climb independently. You couldn't even do to climb it with like a team.
Right.
Would cost me still about $28,000 in permits and all that stuff. Wow. So it just seems like
Not really.
it's a really cool trek. It's a beautiful area. I just don't support a lot of the Everest tourist kind of mentality.
Mm.
Just because it's like it'd be really cool. Everest Base Camp I think is 6,884 meters, 6,800 and something meters. It was really high up. But I just don't know how much I can support like Everest tourism myself.
Right, it's just too commercialized.
It's too commercialized in my opinion. And it's just like there's a lot of risk associated to it just because of people's inexperience. Like we talked about earlier, it's just like there's so much inexperience there. It's like I'm a neurosurgeon from the States and I make millions of dollars a year. I'm gonna go climb Everest because this is a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
It's the same reason people go over and like they go trophy hunting in Africa. It's something they can do.
Yeah, because they have the money to do it.
They have the money to do it.
That annoys me.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it bothers me a bit. So like that's why I wouldn't climb it myself. There's so many other great mountains in the
Mhm.
world and so many other cool, and in Nepal itself, like there's so many other amazing peaks to climb and places to check out. Like you can do like, instead of like Everest Base Camp, there's like Annapurna circuit where you can do like a trek around Annapurna, which is
cool.
like a really cool mountain range there over there. And like Annapurna would be like one of my dreams to climb. I think it's like it's one of the 8,000s. Like there's like 10 mountains over 8,000 meters.
Wow.
This would be like an end goal, like in my
Mhm.
40s or something like that.
Like your last mountain.
Like one of my last mountains would be the like Annapurna. There's like 4 different Annapurna peaks, but like, and some of them haven't even really been climbed very much because they're so dangerous. But like Annapurna 1, I think has like it's got something like 1,000 summits total.
Jeez.
Just because not a lot of people want to go there because it's just easier to climb Everest, right? Because you just pay your way there and go.
Right.
You don't need to trek in for 4 days. It's 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But yeah, like people do that. Like my friend James, I was talking about earlier, my family friend, that he went trekking in Annapurna, like around the Annapurna. There's so many companies that'll take you in that area, and it's a really cool spot still.
Mhm.
It's not Everest Base Camp, but it's still really high up.
Supposed to be pretty high.
Really amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Shit. And so there's actually a photo I want to ask you about.
Okay.
But as I do that, you posted one a while ago about, I don't know where you were. I going to say it was South America? Nicaragua it was in South America. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So, imagine if trees gave free Wi-Fi, we'd be all planting like crazy. It's a pity they only give us oxygen we breathe. I like this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think I double tapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did. Yeah, sick. Okay, worth it. So, why were you in Nicaragua?
So I had a really cool opportunity. My mom's a teacher at St. Charles. I don't go to St. Charles. I didn't go there. But I climbed with the teacher that runs like the physics program over there. And he was running a trip to, every year St. Charles does like a trip somewhere in South America. Or like South America or like that region.
Right.
And it's done as an ecotourism trip. So like you pay way on, it's a high school credit. You learn Spanish and you gotta go, and we were there for like I think 12 or 13 days.
Oh,
and I was there like learning about permaculture farming and ecotourism and sustainable practices over that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that photo was taken the first night there. I was there on Earth Day.
Nice.
And it was my first day there, and that was at the hostel we were staying at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your favorite part about the trip?
I love Nicaragua. Like, there's very few countries. Like, I've been to like I think 15 or something like that now. 16 maybe, and I always think like, oh yeah, there's very few places I'd like, oh yeah, it was great to go, but I don't know if I'd go back. Nicaragua is the place to go back.
Damn it, I want to go to Nicaragua.
I spent 4 or 5 days living with like a local family in like very far remote Nicaragua in a little place called Kovala, and we were working on solar farming. Like, they had a solar farm there.
Okay.
And like we're learning about that stuff and from them, and I was staying with this like family that didn't speak any English at all.
Just Spanish?
Just Spanish.
Oh, señor.
Yo hablo un poco de español. Like,
Sí, mi amigo.
So learned.
That's funny.
So like it was really cool, that experience of like living like completely remote, and like it's like you are so far away from everybody you know, and there's nothing you can do, really, and there's no street lights, there's no cars really.
Yeah.
You're so far off in the mountains. Like, the only thing going through is like the Pan American Highway, and I guess the only like road going through it. And there's like a whole bunch of dirt roads and stuff like that. We're living in this like house made of adobe, which is like their clay mortar kind of thing. It's like their version of cement.
Yep. Yeah.
And like it was really cool, but it's like we're so far away from everything else.
So, how familiar are you with the rainforest disasters now?
I have.
You seen it?
Yeah, so I've seen it. I've been taking that bit of a stance of like, I hate to say this, but almost ignoring it.
In what way?
Like, I think it's a terrible thing that's going on down there, the fact that there's like all this stuff. But I find when it comes to social media, like when there's things like, for example, like Notre Dame, or things like the abortion issue a couple of months ago, stuff like that, I really just kind of step away from
all
it.
these mainstream
I
disasters.
step away from my phone.
Topics. Okay.
Just because people get so agitated without being educated.
And when you say agitated, do you mean people who are like, this is bullshit, I can't believe this is happening?
Yeah, and like, what are they doing? Or people like that. So I tend to like try and distance myself from it, because it's like, unless I'm willing to educate myself about it and like spend the time and like that effort and like really kind of look at it from all angles, I don't want to be the one that's going to get upset about other people for not.
Right.
And I find that I often get upset when I look at stuff, like I get upset when I see people's reactions when they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm upset because the crowd's upset. I think that's a lot. Like, I think there's people who genuinely care about the rainforest, and like genuinely, like, it's a terrible like the burning, and
that's why I went and worked there for 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's important part. It's people like that actually care about it, but then it's the people that are just like, oh, republished a story because it makes me that I'm involved.
Interesting.
Those people piss me off. Like that upsets me. Like the people that just republish just because it's like, this is what's current.
And now here's the thing, though. I'm gonna counter your argument.
Please do.
So, because I posted a story about it, however, my intention, and I think what I try to do with this, and in these situations, this one specifically, most less so, but with stories I try to post, because if you read the story specifically that I posted, not many people posted that.
I did read yours.
Yeah. It's an attempt to educate it.
Yeah.
Right? It's hey, this post has this, or this is the guy who's working there in it, this is what he has to say about it. This is kind of because people want quick. They
Yeah.
want quick. They want fast. They want easy.
It's that
They don't want to do
and the
research
gratification.
themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So if they don't want to do that research themselves, and I've already done enough research about it where I can channel something, or I can weigh my opinion in. But since I'm not going to, I'll let someone else kind of educate people quickly.
Yeah.
And the guy was in the rainforest.
Yeah.
In the post. And so I'm like, okay, he's there. Right behind him, you see the issue. People don't know. They just hear rainforest on fire, and then everyone blows their minds. But they don't visualize it. They just blow it out of proportion, and
Yeah.
they want that quick, easy explanation, but they don't want to research it. It's
Yeah.
like, here's everything you want, but won't do. Look into what this guy's talking about.
I'd support something like that 100%. It's like more of that, like, people like, I forgot, like, there's people like memes and stuff like that. Like, not like memes but about it, but like,
Yeah.
or people like, just like oh, like no one cares about this. Like when Notre Dame, like, stop, it's a wildfire
Right.
in a building.
It's
It's not Notre Dame. This is a different thing. Like, stop comparing the two.
Like, please don't compare them. They both are their own entity that both sucked.
Yeah.
And sucks when they happen. But the thing with all that, excuse me, is a lot of people don't want to educate themselves, but they still want their opinions to be heard.
Yeah.
You know it's okay to not say something about it, which is why I like your approach where you're like, I'm just going to go off my phone because social media does that to me and you're aware of it. It's something that we don't realize as a society that's very harming.
Yeah.
It's harmful, sorry. And it's very, very, it scares me.
It scares me.
me.
I would agree.
Over
It's just, this is like this, like, I need to be heard.
It's like I want people to be educated, and just because you don't have an opinion about something, it's okay to say you don't like to not contribute. That's fine. That's what one thing specifically with there's a couple like female friends I had a while ago, and there's like, you don't have to always put your input into things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, look at me. It's like,
I did this post when it came to Notre Dame because I was so tired of it.
have you been to the Notre Dame?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh,
Like,
me too.
that's the-
Nice. Unpopular opinion, people posting pictures of Notre Dame saying they're sad are just flexing that they've been to Paris. It's funny. That's pretty funny. Also, this pic I took in Paris. Because
That's, I found what a lot of the Notre Dame thing was. Is people are talking about it like it's their grandfather dying.
it's like, yo, I've been to Paris too, but I didn't post about it.
That was, I found a lot of there's two sides of the Notre Dame thing. Both got me upset for some reason, and so I chose to back away with this.
Good point.
There's the side that says I'm upset because it's because Notre Dame burned down,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the people who are upset because somebody donated money to rebuild it. People are like, oh, spend money on the environment. It's like, this guy spent a lot of his money because he likes this. When to realize it, there wasn't a lot of people that don't. It's not like this mass donation pool. There's people, billionaires donated to this.
Yeah, and they donate a couple $1 million. It's like 5 people donate $5,000 or $5 million. It's $5 million.
It's so people. That's why I wasn't upset about people donating their money.
Right.
It's like, well, they should spend it on the environment. I'm like, they don't want to. It's their money.
Right.
Let them do what they want. We can't. Then no one focuses on the fact that there are people that are actually spending so much money, and organizations that are spending so much money on environmental issues without like somebody donated to a building that burned down, and I'm upset.
Right. How long were you in Paris for though?
I think I was in Paris for 6 days.
6 days.
Yeah. Just did like I was over there with James, and we did like after leaving Chamonix, like we just went like on a tour of like a whole bunch of other like European countries. Like I did like went to like it was fun because I had a Euro pass, so I could just hop on the train whenever I wanted.
That's sweet.
So like I did one day where I had breakfast in Rome, lunch in Florence, and dinner in Venice. It was the coolest day.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, no, I had like breakfast in Paris by the train station, then I had I had pizza in Florence, and then seafood in Venice. So I did a bunch of traveling around there, and I finished in Paris. I think it was like 5 days or something, something like that. And we bought a scooter, and we each bought scooters in Berlin from some toy store, and just used those to get around.
Like little scooters?
Oh, like yeah, just like
kick scooters and
kick scooters. So I used that with my big Osprey backpack, and just I covered so much distance in Europe. It's hilarious.
Buddy and I did. We rented longboards when we were in Budapest and Barcelona.
Okay.
And I think next time I go on any of those trips, I want a longboard.
Yeah.
Because, dude, like you said, with
It's
scooters,
so much distance.
exact same thing. It's like you cover so much distance. You do 2 little foot pushes,
Yeah.
and then just
No,
go
we,
on.
like I ended up. There's a climbing gym in Berlin that's it was Berlin. And I wanted to just train a bit, and just climb while I was over there. And so I traveled. Like I took an Uber there, and I brought my scooter with me. and I just scootered home. It's like and it was across town. It was like 10K, and scootering made it like feel like nothing.
It's interesting too when you're traveling and then you're doing all and you're scootering and you're like skateboarding and stuff. Because when my buddy and I skateboarded all around, we were longboarding probably for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And we were like, you know, once we have water, we're fine. And then we're just like, man, you know, this isn't too bad. But if I were to do something at that speed, like if I were to run for like that speed for 6 hours, I'd be like, not a chance, man.
Absolutely not.
Oh, it was bad. But
like the first couple of weeks we walked, like first of the trip, like I was in Rome, and I think I like have it on my like health app. It's like I did like walk something like 40 something kilometers that day. Like we got up at like 7, and I didn't stop walking till like 11 o'clock. We saw everything by foot in Europe.
Wow.
Spanish Steps, Colosseum, Hand of Truth, all this stuff. We just walked across all of Europe and the Vatican, and just to, all throughout Rome, just to see
Wow.
this. It was crazy. Like
40 kilometers of walking
Yeah.
a day.
like 40,000
Oh,
steps.
man.
It's like, oh man.
Just
Just
incredible.
and we kept doing that and did the same thing in Venice, but it's like, man, we get to Munich and I'm just like walking down the road, like hanging out. We're at the sports store. I was checking out some climbing gear, and James is in his 40s, and he's a great guy. Stood in his wedding a couple weeks back, and it was
Nice,
like
dude.
awesome. I'm definitely gonna link him to this, but it was I just see him, this middle-aged big guy coming out of a toy store, like of a climbing and like equipment store,
Yeah.
and he's just riding a scooter like a kid, just around like doing donuts in like the square in Munich. I'm like, awesome.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
That sounds like no G.
Yeah, and then I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy a scooter. That's stupid.
Yeah.
3 days later, we're in Berlin. I'm like, I need a scooter.
All right. Hey, James, I'm gonna dip out.
I'm
and
gonna
get a
go to
scooter.
Toys R Us for a minute.
Was there Toys R Us?
There was a Toys R Us that I bought my scooter at.
That's not too bad.
It was good.
Did they have longboards and stuff? Or where in Sudbury could I get a longboard?
In Sudbury?
Yeah. Because it probably sucked to ride them in here, but I'm sure they're
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I've never like I don't scooter much. I don't like longboard much, like at all. I don't know, like maybe store like Zoomies in the mall. I don't know if Sessions does like that,
Yeah,
like Sessions
true.
Ride Company.
Right.
They might have something. I think they have scooters.
I could ask my buddy John, because my buddy John runs Sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, he trains jiu-jitsu with me.
Oh, sweet.
So.
That's something I want to get into myself.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu?
I've been looking at getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Dude, if you're gonna try anywhere, and this is my plug, this is where I'm gonna plug the family, the familia. Train at Troop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
That's what I've been looking at.
100% biased, but I'm also 100% have a reason to be biased. Between the quality of instructors to the level of like intensity that we all train at, to the variety of skills and different like weights that you have.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a bunch of big guys who are all purple belts. There's a bunch of white belts, a bunch of blue belts, and they're all good. They've all been doing it for a while. They all have that experience
Cool.
and stuff. And then Professor Monkey is like, I can only say the best things about him. It's like the smartest guy. He's a brick shithouse. Like he's insane. He's
Sweet.
smart guy, everything. Like I'm looking forward to him coming back in the gym because he just fought at Worlds. So
Yeah, no,
yeah, train at Troop. You'll love the people. You'll love the level of intensity.
I know my buddy Rogan's been going there, and he's been loving it. So like I think that's where I'm gonna, like when I decide whether I want to get into it or not, and like check it out there.
I know they have like I don't know if it's a free week or a free day, whatever it is. They have free something just to get your foot in the door and see what it's like. So
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm definitely hoping to check that out soon.
nice.
I've been watching a lot of like I had an ex-girlfriend who her brother used to host like MMA nights whenever there was a fight night at
Oh,
their house,
cool.
and I would go over for every fight night.
Nice.
Like I just really got into like watching MMA and UFC.
Yeah, it's a
So
lot
I
of fun.
love it. And it's like, oh, I don't care how violent it is. Like it's awesome to watch.
I find if you learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, UFC fights get turned up a lot more in terms of interest. Like I'm a lot more interested in a fight now that I have the very basic understanding of what's going on the ground and what to look for. That's not just, oh, one guy's really good wrestler, one guy's really good boxer, let's see what happens. It's like, if they go to the ground, let's, like you have as much of an understanding, it's not just one dimensional. It's like whoever gets hit more like loses. It's like no, but now you get to see more technical and you're looking at it and you're enjoying a lot more of the fights and everything. So.
Yeah, no, that I find like as I've been doing a lot more research into it and just watching all that stuff, and that's the cool part is like noticing like as I research it more, it's like I appreciate like I was watching a Habib fight a couple of like man, awesome.
Yeah, dude, he smashes.
He's crazy. But it's like just watching him on the ground. It's like as soon as he like
it's terrifying.
All like with the McGregor fights, like all Khabib needed to do was get McGregor on the ground.
That's it though.
And that was it. I'm like, it was so cool to watch.
It's terrifying that he does that with every single person he fights. He does it against everyone from amateurs in his beginning, not amateurs, but like not as high class in the beginning, to world champions. He's just gonna pick them up right on the punch in the face. Yeah, it's like so. I know a bunch of us probably watching that fight on whatever it comes out. I think it's in September. I know it's in Abu Dhabi, but I don't know what the next day. Probably September 5th, 7th. 7th would make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I think
I think it's the 7th.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty sweet.
No,
yeah.
I'm excited to watch that. Gonna get the pay-per-view there.
Try it out and let me know if you do. Yeah. And on the day you go, so then I'll be there. And
sounds good.
Yeah. Great bunch of people. I have only good things to say.
Yeah.
So I lucked out too, because when I asked my buddy, I was like, "Yo, like Steph, like where'd you train? Like where should I train? Like I'm moving to Sudbury now. Like where would you recommend training?" He's like, "I'll train at Troop." I was like, yeah, "Okay,
sweet."
And then just
a year
later,
all I've heard is good things from like different like I know there's like a brand ambassador I follow, like Andre. Like what the Fiel is his Instagram page, and he was plugging Troop, like I think it was, and like my buddy Rogan's there, and I think his buddy Devin's like there's a bunch of guys I know that are like going over there and they're loving it, like so I think I'll be checking it out soon.
It's the best.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I can say. I can't really like clarify that even any more than it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, man. How long were you in Europe for? Like, how long did you do that Europe trip?
I think I was there for about 31 days.
31 days?
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Like, what was the start of it like? You started in Mont Blanc?
Yeah, I started in Chamonix.
Okay.
Right after that was when the travels began. I took a bus from Chamonix to Geneva. I took a train from Geneva to Milan, Milan to Rome, Rome to Florence, Florence to Venice, Venice to Salzburg, Austria, Salzburg to Munich, Munich to Berlin, Berlin to Hamburg, Hamburg to Amsterdam,
nice,
Amsterdam to Brussels, Brussels to Paris. So I was out for a while.
Okay,
it was a good time.
Speaking of Amsterdam, that's why I brought the Heineken. But I saw a photo on your gram about something. So, and so there was a photo about when you were in Amsterdam.
Okay,
correct. So it's this one, right?
Yeah.
So familiar. Now let's go to mine and go down. And I think if I'm correct, it might be the other side I'm shooting of.
Other side of the bridge?
Other side of the bridge, but then there's mine. So it's like...
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, shit. Like, I had a friend of mine named Michaela. She's on a couple weeks ago. Shout out to her. She, I posted a photo of Monaco.
Okay.
Right? When I was there. And then she sent me a message on Facebook, and turns out that she was just in that city where I was.
Yeah.
Like the exact same place, and took a photo and sent me the photo. She's like, yo, I was just here. It's crazy. I'm like, shit.
That's sick.
Where do you find though that like, where do you find traveling fits into like life? Like where do you think is the best time to go? Because I find when you're young, you don't have money to do
whatever
it.
you can. Really. Like I don't think there's any perfect time. I think it's gonna be really subjective. Like there's the guys who work 9 to 5 every week and like 6 days a week. they're not going to have the time. There's
Right.
guys like me who have a very kind of open schedule, who work a lot, and when they can, they're in those free times. I'm doing short trips like around Ontario, stuff like that. I think the perfect time to travel is really when you have time for it. I worked at Ramaco's for years, and a lot of what my job was is I was selling people backpacking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was selling people stuff to go to Europe. And
Oh,
people
okay.
oftentimes I had people of all ages coming in. I thought that was awesome. It's like I had people who were really young going with their parents. I had people who were and that's one of the things I'm very grateful for. Growing up, my family did a lot of my traveling has been done with my family.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was young, I don't know how many countries it was, but I've been to something 12 different little islands in the Caribbean.
Wow.
I did a cruise when I was 8, and then I've done extra traveling in that area with my family and and the States with my family and just different things like that. And I've gone to BC with my dad and all those times. I think that's awesome. I even though I was young, I can still remember that. People
Right.
I hear people saying oh, I shouldn't take my kids traveling because they're not going to remember it. No, I think that's absolutely
It's
a bad idea because they're going to remember it.
Right.
I think it's an awesome idea to take your kids traveling. They're going to learn a lot more there than they're going to learn I don't want them to miss school. They're going to learn a lot more out there.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything I learned I remember catching up when I was in grade 2 because I missed a week. I remember doing the catch-up work. I don't remember anything that I learned during. I remember doing the work. I don't remember any of the work, but I remember that trip.
Right.
I remember that trip really well.
Interesting.
I went to Finland with my grandfather, and that was awesome. When I was a kid, and all these really amazing experiences. So I really think and I look at this my dad was in his 40s when I went to Finland with him, and his dad who was in his 80s, and I was 12. So it's that really cool. Everybody took something different out of this. So I think the perfect time to travel is really just whenever you can. It's if you have the opportunity, you have the money and the finances, and there's always ways of doing it too.
Right.
People I can't travel, it's too expensive. It's really, how much money are you spending on Tim Hortons a week? How much money are you spending on Starbucks a week? That okay, if I drop $2 today on a coffee and maybe the next day, hey, I spent
It adds up for
$8
sure.
a week. It's hey, put that away for
Mm-hmm.
you do that for a year and a half and throw any pocket change away.
Right.
There you go. You got enough money to go for a nice little trip. You might not have tons of, might not seem a lot in the moment, but after a while that adds up and you can go on a really cool trip.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, true.
there's always ways of doing these trips.
Okay.
That's what I think. So whenever somebody can do it, they should.
Whenever somebody can do it, they should. Now to end it off, do you have a quote that you live by? Just one. Before the battery dies.
Not that I could think of really. It's a Yvon Chouinard quote. Yvon Chouinard is the guy who created Patagonia.
Yeah.
And he created Patagonia and Black Diamond. So he's a really cool environmental. He's got a book called Let My People Go Surfing. He's got several books out, and all of them are amazing. I'm gonna look up the quote so I don't butcher it.
Okay.
But it was in his book Let My People Go Surfing. I'm that's, oh man, he's got 2 now that I'm thinking from that book. I'll say the one right from his book that because it'll apply more to this podcast.
Sweet.
It's talking about when it comes to his he's talking about his gear lineup.
Yeah.
And that philosophy was why people shouldn't buy a ton of stuff. It's the more you know, the less you need.
The more you know.
The less you need. So it's
Damn, that's cool.
yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yvon Chouinard,
Jeez, dude.
awesome book. It was in Let My People Go Surfing.
No good.
And I'm that's exactly my approach from a lot of different things.
I'm gonna write them down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. Alright, so the more you know,
The less you need.
Awesome, buddy. I really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.